In today's video, we're going to be talking about the brand new gaming powerhouse that is the REDMAGIC 10 Air. This is a brand new line of devices from REDMAGIC. They're known for their gaming devices, from their standard number series like the 10 Pro that's currently available, or even the S series like last year we had the 9S Pro that came out in the year before then. What we typically get from them is a gaming-centric focused device that gives you the best. It's basically an all-out feature-packed gaming phone that has great specs, large display, a large battery, a lot of features and a lot of combination of things that make it very unique. I'm talking about triggers, I'm talking about custom lights, LEDs, and the Air series continues that theme, but it has a few modifications that we haven't seen from them before. This is the REDMAGIC 10 Air. Let's check it out and see all the new features that REDMAGIC is putting in to their Air series. Like and subscribe and make sure you hit that bell icon so you're always notified whenever we have new videos for you on the channel. Here we have it, the REDMAGIC Air. This is the 10 Air, the first of its kind, and of course win more games because again this is at its core a gaming device. In the box we get the smartphone. This is the REDMAGIC 10 Air. We have a see-through case, a nice little case here, small protection. Of course the wire charger, it is included in the box. This is an 80-watt charger with USB-C to C cable to be able to charge up our device. There is no wireless charging, so the 6,000 milliampere battery that we have in here will be charged at 80 watts using this charger. We also have a few, basically some stickers here, REDMAGIC, a silver and a red one, depending which system that you'd like. I know at first look, this looks a little bit different than what we're used to seeing from REDMAGIC. First and foremost, their game launcher button here is actually just a button. It's not a switch. So to launch it, you press and hold and it actually switches. It's still red, so it's very nice and easy to recognize. On the right side, we have a power button. That's just a button. There's no fingerprint sensor in this, a volume rocker, and of course we have the dual triggers that we have from before. Very nice in position at up to 520 Hertz touch response rate here. So customizable for the game. It's built into the actual launcher. An in-display fingerprint sensor. We have a 6.8-inch display. This is an AMOLED display. And what it means, we're going to be getting basically a pretty nice experience. As far as brightness, 1600 nits. And of course, the screen resolution that we're looking here is 2480 by 1116, basically almost QHD. 120 Hertz refresh rate, and of course we have access to their launcher here, their aggregate news launcher, app drawer, notification shade, as well as notification toggles right above each other. Very nice and very simple. Of course, the UI itself is built on top of Android 15. It is running REDMAGIC OS 10.0 on top of Android 15. This is the REDMAGIC 10 Air. 12 gigs of RAM with 256 gigs of internal storage is in the configuration that I have, although there's going to be variants where it goes up to 16 gigabytes of RAM and up to 512 gigs of internal storage. There's three different colors. There's the Twilight Black, the Hailstone White, and the Flare Orange. The Flare Orange will be available at a later time. Currently, I think as far as I know, the main availability is the Hailstone White, which is the one that we're looking at here. And of course, we're looking at the Twilight Black as well. The model here is the NX779J. Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 is the mobile processor, clocked in at 3.3 gigahertz. And again, as I mentioned, 2480 by 1116 for the resolution, and the battery capacity is 6,000 milliampere. This device supports dual SIM card. It does not support any eSIM, so just keep something like that in mind. And of course, there's also no wireless charging. So for the most part, what we're getting here essentially is a fast charging 6,000 milliampere gaming device that basically focuses on the gaming experience at its core. As far as the customizations of what we get in here, we have the ability obviously to customize Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, mobile network, again, no eSIM, but dual SIM. Theme personalization, you can customize the home screen, the display, the notification status bar, a lot of different things. But when it comes to REDMAGIC AI Plus, or the AI functionality, we have the smart slider that's positioned in here, and that gives me the ability of launching a side launcher here that opens up different applications. You're able to jump into multi-screen configurations as well. REDMAGIC translation built in. You can customize it to transcribe during calls, and it'll help basically utilizing Google Gemini's functionality at its core. The REDMAGIC Smart Communication, this is going to be where it's trying to leverage connectivity and Wi-Fi connection, so it'll find the best connection for you and give you the best experience. And again, as you see here, smart antenna boosting, smart dual SIM, and of course, smart adaptive 5G. Very nice and very simple, and it is built in. One thing that did change on the REDMAGIC 10 Air from the 10 Pro and the previous generation is we actually now have, the light strip essentially is, let's go ahead and turn it on, just want to show you guys what it looks like. Essentially, it's an LED light positioned on top of the top part of the screen. And what that means essentially is that we're able to customize the lighting effect around the top mount here, which is basically the LED light that we have built in here. You can customize it to basically be like, breathing effect. You can have it breathe in, breathe out, change the color configuration, flashing, And of course, you can have it turn on and turn off depending on when the screen is on and off. You can customize the colors, of course, as well. There's the ability of turning on strobe mode, so this basically just keeps strobing. Personally, I like flow because it actually kind of looks pretty nice, and it keeps it just basically more of a circular experience. So that's one of the new customizations. You're able to go in there, media, atmosphere, LED, incoming calls, charging, all the different things that you want to be able to customize. Feature-wise, you can also go in here. There's the Z-Top, the Magic Key, system navigation, one-handed mode, and different options in there. There's a lot of customizations built in here that gives you the ability of playing not only games, but also getting the usability of a very nice smartphone. Users and accounts, of course, digital well-being, Google, system update. I did receive 3 updates since I've had this unit, so hopefully by the time you guys pick it up, it'll actually already have all the latest updates. It is running the latest version of Google Play services up to basically March 1st, so it is pretty current. As far as the UI, again, large, beautiful display. You're able to customize a few things in the notification panel. You'll notice here I can turn on the light strip, even though technically it's a light there. You can change the refresh rate to be more of a consistent experience at 120 Hertz, or keep it intelligent, so it basically fluctuates. And I have it positioned now to tell me exactly what the refresh rate setting is on the top left. Before we go too far, how does this work in the US? Is it optimized? Absolutely. This is optimized to, it's very much optimized to work in the US, as you can see here. 481 down, 18 up, and this is on T-Mobile in the LA area. Beautiful, very, very nice. When we take a look at the Geekbench score, we're looking at 2271 for the single core, 7130 for the multi-core, for the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 running in here. And of course, within the gaming system, you're able to customize it, overclock it, and of course, or use even a battery saver. I think the 8 Gen 3 is a very nice, good combination of performance and battery savings type of a processor that gives us a great gaming experience on this device. One thing to mention, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 here is part of the experience of what makes this device even more unique. It's the fact that it's technically about 10% lighter and slimmer than the 10 Pro. So if you've had a 10 Pro, if you've looked at it before and you thought maybe this is too thick or too heavy of a device, this is definitely going to give you that better experience. We're still looking at a 6,000 mAh battery. We're also looking at a great game launcher, a fingerprint sensor that's built into the display. This is an optical one, not an ultrasonic one. The camera experience that we're looking here was a dual cameras on the back. They're dual 50 megapixels and a 16 megapixel camera on the front, as you notice that little ring that we see there, because when you swipe it away, it actually goes away. We have an under display camera that gives us the ability of getting that nice, beautiful, large display experience without having the compromise of having to look at a punch hole camera at the front. But when you need it, when you turn it on and switch over to it, you'll actually be able to see, and it is very nice and present. And of course, if any application needs it, it'll automatically switch for it. But as far as what we get in the main cameras in the back, we have dual 50 megapixel cameras. We're able to shoot all the way up to 8K on both of those sensors. So switching between the main and the second, the experience is pretty much covered it the same way. 4K 30 or 4K 60 is going to be primarily what I love staying at with stabilization. On the front-facing camera, unfortunately, it is capped at 1080p 30 frames per second. We have photo mode, pro mode, and of course, camera family, the ability of using some nice little customized templates to be able to create content, Milky Way night for basically astrophotography, and of course, portrait experience to be able to get some portrait imagery. Let's go ahead and go outside real quick and do an audio video sample on the front-facing camera and the main sensor on the back on the brand new REDMAGIC 10 Air. Start off with the front-facing camera. We have an interesting approach to the camera here. We have an actually almost disappearing camera, for the lack of a better term. It's actually under the display, which means when you're using the device, you don't have that punch hole at the front, which makes it for a more full experience when the display, when you're playing games and doing different things. But that also kind of gives you a slightly different experience when it comes to the front-facing camera. And I feel like this is where you probably want to live more in the dual 50 megapixel cameras that we have on the back. But this should be a pretty good example. 1080p 30 frames per second is the maximum resolution on the front-facing camera, and this should be a good example of the audio and video recording on the brand new REDMAGIC 10 Air. Now we're switching it to the main sensor on the back. Both the ultra-wide and the main sensor are capable of shooting up to 8K because they're dual 50 megapixel cameras, and we're also able to shoot 4K 60 frames per second, which I feel like is the best resolution that you're able to experience on this device. Again, this is a gaming device at its best, and of course the cameras are always going to get some love, but not as much as obviously better cooling, better processing, and of course the triggers that we have on this device. But again, a good example of the audio and video and a little bit of wind on the brand new REDMAGIC Air, well, the REDMAGIC 10 Air. It's very nice to see that the dual cameras that we have on the back, although we only have two, are both mirrored experiences, meaning 4K 30, 4K 60, 8K is supported on both lenses in the back. Now the front-facing camera, because they're going with a design that gives us more of a focus on seamless integration, meaning you don't see the camera whole whenever you're not using it, and it gives you basically the appeal or the look of a much larger display, because typical displays will either have a teardrop or a punch hole camera at the top. So that's something that's very nice and unique. But overall, I think it's something to keep in mind of what the experience is going to be there when you're using it for maybe taking pictures or even taking videos with that. It's pretty decent, but 1080p is going to be the maximum there. Now, let's jump in real quick to our favorite song on the channel. This is Alex Crindo Jumbo by NCS Release. We're playing at 100% volume level to be able to experience the stereo speakers that we have in here.
Jack it up.
You know what? Definitely it can get very nice and very loud, and of course it has actually a very nice bassy experience to it, which is definitely very appreciated. The bottom firing piece is probably going to be the louder piece of the two, but keep in mind, if you're holding it in your hands and you're playing games, you're not going to be disappointed. Again, keep in mind when you're playing and you're using the air triggers, that's pretty much how you're going to hold the phone, which pretty much guarantees you that great experience. Let's go ahead and jump real quick into the gaming experience, and typically I would launch the game by itself, but we have a game launcher. We have a dedicated game launcher built in here. If I press and hold on this button, you could definitely appreciate the animation that they're going here. It's a game launcher that is built in directly. You can go in there, customize it, add application, take out applications. I actually added Geekbench in here primarily because I wanted to run it and see if I'm able to get a better score, and I overclock it. We have Brawl Stars. My son wanted to play that, Real Racing. We have Call of Duty Mobile, Genshin Impact, PUBG Mobile, and of course, Solo Leveling is one of the new games we're adding into the system. What I appreciate about the system here, and as far as gaming experience, when you want to launch a game, you can select it and say start the game. It'll launch the game, it'll automatically boost, close any application, or release any kind of RAM so that it gets the best experience. Let's go ahead and minimize it. One of the nice things about this launcher is that we have the information bar at the top that gives us the ability of seeing what our refresh rate is. So we can definitely see what our FPS is whenever we're playing games. To be able to launch the side launcher in here, swipe once, twice, and it'll open it up right away for you. There's a few options that you're able to customize between changing the refresh rate, changing that info bar that we added just a second ago. I'll go ahead and bring it back. Also, the ability of customizing the experience, screen recording, timer, accessories if you have any, and also the ability of changing the profile. So we have the ability of jumping between balance, eco, and rise, and I'm actually keeping it on the rise. Configuring the brightness level, the speaker volume here. You can bring that back and bring here, and of course boost or actually configure the brightness in here. The information that you have in there, let's go ahead and bring the volume level a little bit there. Some of that information is positioned in there. Also, the ability of customizing the air triggers, it's pretty straightforward there. You jump in there, turning them on. By default, they're turned off. So when you have them off, it doesn't work. You customize the position of the buttons during gameplay so that you get the best experience. And once you have that set up, you'll be able to actually use them to be able to play games. I have them configured to basically aim and shoot on the right side. So I aim with the left and I shoot with the right. One thing to mention though is because they're configured to be in those specific spots, if I push my finger here, you notice right there, you notice that the R is basically positioning there. And on the left, you can see the left one here. So very simple and very easy. So I've been using this device for about 3 weeks now, and I've traveled with it. And as far as you can imagine, obviously gaming on a smartphone like this, it's the best experience that you're going to be getting from any smartphone on the market. Because at its core, it's not trying to limit the experience of what the processor can do. This is what REDMAGIC's been known to do. If you want to be able to push this device, REDMAGIC just says, hey, here's all the power, enjoy and play. Having the triggers in here are definitely a very nice feature that we don't typically get with other devices. The liquid metal vapor chamber here that we have gives us the ability of getting it to run a little bit cooler. There's a few functional options also that they've included in the system to allow us to use a pass-through functionality to plug in the power cable and bypass charging the battery so that you reduce the amount of heat that the device gets. So you can get long gaming sessions without overall warming the device just by when you're charging it. The 80-watt charging is pretty much the fastest that we're able to get on the Air series. It can go up to 100 on the Pro, but again, keep in mind with the Air. But gaming, using the triggers on the Call of Duty Mobile with the REDMAGIC 10 Air, I love the triggers. I like the ability of aiming and shooting directly with the two triggers on the top, allowing me to have less fingers on the display, meaning a bigger gaming experience, and enjoying the 6.8-inch display. No problems at all. Obviously, running it at the best resolution, 120 frames per second, it didn't even phase this device. There's no issues. It'll run it and you'll enjoy the best resolution and frame rate that you're able to get right now out of that game. And of course, jumping into PUBG Mobile, pretty much similar experience. I have HDR support, higher resolution capabilities, but the gaming experience there was capped at about 40 frames per second, which is expected at the higher resolution. I think the game pretty much is prioritizing quality, and the frame rate doesn't have the ability of going as fast as going 90 frames per second. If you drop the resolution and you increase the frame rate, you're able to go up to 90 frames. So definitely an enjoyable experience there. The next game in there we did was Real Racing. That was primarily just to test out the 120 frames per second with a game that has a lot of moving items and moving, basically scenery that allows us to enjoy and see the benefit of having 120 frames per second. Call of Duty Mobile has that, but there's a lot of different moving parts, and they typically don't move very quickly like a racing game does. So enjoyed there. They definitely had no problems. It ran beautifully. And that one was basically using more of the accelerometer and the speakers on the actual unit. Very, very nice. The next game, obviously, we're going to talk about is Genshin Impact, because everybody needs to talk about that. Out of all of the games I've tested, Genshin Impact is about the only one that did get this device to warm up. I've seen this before, and again, it's due to the way REDMAGIC has been managing this system. They give you all the power and they say, hey man, just enjoy it. Get everything that you want, but understand that the device may get a little bit warmer. I feel like this is where the case kind of benefited me here, because what we're getting here essentially is the ability of separating our fingers from the back of the unit itself, which means reducing the temperature. If you use the bypass functionality, you even reduce the temperature that typically will come from the battery, that when you're drawing too much power from it, will definitely help produce more heat. That's a better way of looking at it. But the device never actually locked up, and it never gave me a warning. So although it warmed up, it still allowed me to keep enjoying the game. So definitely something to keep in mind. But Genshin Impact worked beautifully, 60 frames per second, highest resolution. And there was some functional options that they talked about frame rate interpolation to give us better frame rate on games like Genshin Impact and Call of Duty Mobile. So some things like that are built in into the system from REDMAGIC to give us better gaming experiences there. And the next game, of course, is Brawl Stars. This is primarily installed there for my son. He loves playing the game, and it runs beautifully. It really doesn't tax the system as any other games that we've seen, but visually and just overall experience, it is an enjoyable game to watch, and something that I just cannot understand, but he enjoys playing it a lot. So I definitely had an opportunity to see that it worked quite well, and no issues and no stress to this device. Last but not least, because I'm now a very big fan of solo leveling, this also ran solo leveling very, very nicely, very smoothly, no issues. Large display, very good experiences, great visuals, great sound, and the device will not disappoint. Again, the game itself, I don't feel like it's a very taxing game, but the experience on this device was enjoyable. With the exception of the Genshin Impact game running at 60 frames per second, this device didn't even get phased. So with that being said, when it comes down to the gaming experience, that's pretty much how you should expect the REDMAGIC 10 Air to perform. The camera experiences overall, we have a dual 50 megapixel cameras on the back. We have the main sensor on the front, 16 megapixel under display camera. It's going to give you good experience. If there's good light, low light, it performed a little bit mixed experience there. But I took it with me when I was here, traveling to Singapore, to Malaysia. And the overall images that you're looking there is a good sample of what you should expect from there, as we saw with the video, with the audio and video sample when we did the recording just a few minutes ago in this video. And what that translates to essentially is a price point that gives you the ability of starting at $549 for the REDMAGIC 10 Air, as opposed to what we're getting with the $649 on the REDMAGIC 10 Pro. That $100 difference could be basically the decision factor that helps you get into a REDMAGIC and enjoy it. So at its core, if you're looking for a great gaming device from REDMAGIC and you feel like the REDMAGIC 10 Pro is too expensive and you don't want to necessarily pick up the 9S Pro from last year, the 10 Air fits in right there beautifully as a great bang for the buck type of experience. It gives you all of the benefits of REDMAGIC that we've typically come to enjoy in a smaller, thinner, lighter device that still has fast charging, large battery, large display, great gaming experiences, and again, a gaming-centric experience with a beautiful game launcher that you can customize and launch on the side. Very nice experience that we rarely see from many other gaming systems on the market. I do want to say thank you very much to REDMAGIC for allowing me to check out the brand new REDMAGIC 10 Air and share with you guys my experience. And as usual, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell icon so you're always notified whenever we have new videos for you on the channel. I'll see you in the next one.